So tonight, Darcy has been a lot of trouble. So let's see what she's up to because we put her in her room. All right, y'all. So we're talking today about the honeymoon phase. And this is something that kind of came up because, Miss A has a therapist that she can talk to. Most kids in care do have a therapist so that, they can talk, because every kid goes through trauma when they're placed into foster care because they've been taken from their home. So they need somebody to talk to, and kind of like work through that kind of stuff. So through one of those conversations, we heard that Miss A was talking about like the honeymoon phase and how her and her therapist were talking about how like, because of some of the like frustrations and like things that our family is going through right now, that like, oh, like, yeah, like you're in the honeymoon phase, like the honeymoon phase is over, like blah, blah, blah. What is the honeymoon phase? So for us, what we learned in training, and actually what we experienced with our first foster daughter, is that the honeymoon phase is basically where, the family, like the foster parents, and the kid who's in care, they're basically like on their best behavior. They like are showing their best selves. They're like trying to impress each other. Everything's going great. When the honeymoon phase ends, like what that looks like if you're the foster parents is like, the kid all of a sudden is like lying or like not doing their chores or starting fights or like having attitudes out of nowhere. Stuff like that. And for the kid who's in care, what it looks like is, maybe the foster parents are like super accommodating and they're like, oh, eat whatever you want. What do you want from the grocery store? Like, you can have everything. And then yeah, see? So like, and then all of a sudden, like if they were to stop that and be like, no, you're only going to eat what we provide and you need to eat all your broccoli, even though like before they're like, no, don't worry about the broccoli. And is that pretty like accurate?
Yeah, I think a reason.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, go.
I think a reason for it, at least from like what they tell you in training, is when a kid first comes into your home, you do not want to slap a bunch of rules on them. Like you don't want to be drill sergeant and all that. Like you want to build a rapport with them, and if you do have rules, then slowly introduce them over time. So that could be part of it too. Am I not feeding you fast enough, buddy? Yum yum yum. What's this stuff at the bottom?
I like honeymoon phases where like you're basically being fake, trying to impress. So that's why like we talked about it and I'm like, well, I don't feel like that's the case. So like what we've been experiencing lately is just like a shift in our routine. So Miss A has started track, and what that means is that like, after school, like John and I have to coordinate like who's gonna pick her up and bring her home, and what does that look like? Yeah, she's tired. Yeah, so like, there's some things that happen with that. Also, like I've been going through some trainings in December, January, February. So like I've kind of been at capacity and I have a lot on my plate. And so, that causes a little bit of like tension when like I'm not around or like, whatever. Just like kind of shifts in schedules. Like we also had changes in visitation over the last few months. All of these changes kind of disrupt our family routine. With any family, it's going to cause some like friction. So we'll eventually like get back into our routine. It's just like we're in like a weird position right now. And also Darcy, our just about 4-year-old, has been very opinionated lately, does not listen. And she is testing our patience every single day. Right, Darcy? So much attitude. So much attitude. I feel like Darcy acts like the teenager and you do not. Miss A is like the kind one and Darcy is the one who is acting like a rebellious teenager. That's safe to say. If you are a foster parent or a foster kiddo or someone who has been a foster kiddo, go ahead and like comment and share with us all like what your experience has been with the honeymoon phase. Like we said, like, you know, with our first placement, she definitely had a honeymoon phase where things were really great, like everything was going really well. And then we found out that, like, you know, there was a lot of deceit and lying and, you know, a big like an attitude shift. And it was hard for us because it was our first time being foster parents. We really didn't know what we were doing. And so we didn't know if we should like lay down the law or, you know, basically like be overly accommodating. Like you basically have to take every kid and every experience and just adapt to it. So you have to like know your kid. I know I say that like all the time, but you have to know your kid well enough to know how to react when situations happen. And you probably will mess up. And when you mess up, you just kind of have to try to overcorrect and, you know, make up for it in a different way and try again the next time to make the better decision. And that's just parenting. That's just like straight up parenting.
So to be fair to our first placement, even though she was deceitful and lied about a lot of things, she was a good kid, and there was a lot of reasons why she was doing what she was doing.
Yeah.
Just, you know, things in her past and things like that. And a lot of times kids act out or do bad things because they want, you know, they don't want to leave or they want something. So there's a reason behind it. It's not just kids being bad kids. So yeah. She was a good kid, and I think overall there was a lot of good.
Yeah, a lot of
placement. So
for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like it all wasn't bad, and like you have to remember that, you know, these kids are kids and they've been through trauma, and so they don't always know how to voice like what that feels like. I have talked to Miss A about it and kind of explained like what our definition of a honeymoon phase is, and so like her and her therapist have like a different like honeymoon phase definition. So
yeah, what? Because I'm telling her like everything was good. We talked a lot. Like we laughed more. When your sister would come over, like we have a lot of family time together. Like like it was always like we was never alone.
Yeah.
And then now like life is hitting. People got different stuff to do. Like the schedule is just changing.
Yeah.
So our definition was just like y'all see each other, like the honeymoon, like if we all got married, not in a real way, but if we all got married, like that's great. That's a great thing. Like y'all having fun, like we really like each other, and then life hits, and then now some stuff that you may do may make me feel some type of way, and then I got like that. So it was just. Yeah. Totally different from what honeymoon is.
Yeah. All right, so that's a little bit about the honeymoon phase. Make sure if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like and subscribe so you can see all of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.